You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast network. It's the TuAmigos Podcast with Carter and Jorge at DolphinsTalk.com.
Welcome back to the TuAmigos. Sorry, I had to get it in there really quickly so Jorge would not jump in. Okay. My name is Carter Melrose, and this is Jorge. Welcome back to the show, my co-host.
Thank you, Carter.
Another win. After, even though it was a little bit dicey at times. But before we get into the actual Dolphin stuff, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Can you tell everyone what I just learned? That you have to work tomorrow, because
there's no Thanksgiving in Mexico.
Oh my goodness! What a really sad time to be Jorge on Thursday in specific.
I'm gonna be watching football while I work, so I don't care.
Oh yeah, see that's the confusing thing is our whole country acts like it's the world, and you're gonna miss some football too.
I'm not missing the football, man.
Which game are you most excited for out of that slate?
Honestly, I have no idea who's playing tomorrow. I'm laser focused on Friday.
I'll give you at least two teams that.
Yeah, I know Detroit is playing. I know Dallas is playing. Dallas is playing the Commanders. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. And Detroit is playing Green Bay, I think.
Okay, you know all the games then. You were lying.
I don't know the other game though.
The last game is probably the best one. It's the late slate, and it's the Seahawks and the Niners.
Okay.
Which maybe it's not that good of a game. Are the Seahawks good? I don't know if the Seahawks are good.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, Carter. Like, I've been so laser focused on the Dolphins and also planning a wedding. I haven't been able to see most of like the rest of the, at least not the NFC. Like, I know the AFC teams. I know who's doing well, who's competing with us for number one. Outside of Philadelphia and the Niners and Detroit and Dallas, I have no idea what's going on the NFC.
You know what? We get it. You have a wedding coming up. This is the happiest time of your life. You're better than everyone else.
That's the guy that clearly has never planned a wedding.
You just have, oh my goodness, you have everything going on. Beautiful, beautiful. But last couple of months have been pretty dicey for me, pretty hell for me. And the Dolphins haven't made it easier by losing to all the good opponents. But like I was saying, I was teasing before the start of the show. Yes. And if you're following the saga of the TuAmigos, my love life has been so up and down that it is usually anytime we have a new update on it, we try to start the show with it. Okay. The update, once again, is last time we talked about it, me and my girlfriend broke up. My car broke down in the same week. And also I with in the same week. So all of it was hell week. This last 2 weeks, I have now gotten back together with my girlfriend. So there you go. There's the update.
I'm very happy for you.
You said you're going to be uncensored.
Yes, I'm very happy for you, man.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right.
I said I made a commitment to you a couple weeks ago where I would not be an asshole anymore about your love life. And as long as you're happy, I'm happy, man.
I just feel like it's a trap. Just knowing you, it feels like a trap.
I swear it's not. I had it before you told us the outcome. Like I wasn't sure if you got him back or not. When you said like my love life's been up and down for the duration of the TuAmigos, I was so ready to jump in and say but mostly down. I had no idea if you're gonna say like you haven't. Yeah. Like if I said that and then you said like we haven't gotten back together, she rejected me. I was gonna feel like such a big jerk. So it's like, I just.
I like that you waited. You care about me a little,
I do care about you, man.
You waited because you were like, if I kick this kid before he tells me that they, him and his they're not back together, that would be the awful thing.
I was gonna feel like the shittiest person ever.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, we're in a good place. We're back together. We actually just together. The reason I even brought it up too was it's actually kind of important for our conversation, at least the start of our conversation, because we watched the Raiders and the Dolphins together. And then we also watched, she really wants to lean into like being a Dolphin fan with me. So we actually watched Hard Knocks yesterday. What'd you think of Hard Knocks? What'd you think of it?
I liked it, actually. I loved it. I watched it live, which was a challenge, by the way, because I'm not sure if you know this, but the HBO you get in the US is not the same HBO you get in Mexico.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, and like HBO Max is completely different in both countries.
Okay, so the difference, when was the live version for you, I guess?
No, I watched it live in the HBO US, which was the challenge. I found a way to do that. I will not tell you how, because I don't want the FBI knocking on my door.
You used a VPN, I'm sure.
I'm
right?
not going to say anything.
Okay.
But I watched it live, and
Yeah.
I actually loved it. And, it was great. It was fun. I love the cake part.
Oh, the cake. Yeah. Is it for I couldn't tell. Is it for turnovers or?
I think it's for making a play, right? You make a play, you get a cake. I'm not sure if you want to talk about Tyreek's wife.
With the nachos?
And the nacho saga.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I thought she was super cool about it. She was like, don't worry, it's okay, whatever. I thought Tyreek's mom was ready to beat the shit out of that guy.
Oh my gosh, I know she is a character. I like Tyreek's mom. She needs to be a part of this show. What other things did you like that stood out to you? Like what's getting you to watch every single week? What's that?
First of all, I'll say this. Coach Campanile is probably a gunner after this year. There's no way we're going to be able to keep him as a position coach.
You think?
After this year? Yeah, I think he's a gunner for a DC job for sure.
Huh.
I really liked Bevel's and Tua's, dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of respect there, both ways. I liked watching Mike coach Tua during practice. I thought that was really nice. You can tell that Tua's not entirely thrilled with the whole Hard Knocks experience, as he said it openly in the press conference. And you can see some guys are actually, digging it. I thought the offensive line guys were absolutely loving it. At their dinner, Teron, Rob Jones, mostly them.
Yeah, they were. I don't know what they were doing. It was like a very loud offensive line joke. I couldn't hear it, but I just know that they were enjoying themselves.
Yeah, they were really enjoying themselves.
And I know that Tua hates it because also he's just been synonymous with like not wanting anyone to know about his life. You know what I mean? Like being very, very private. Like, remember, like anytime that anything happens big with Tua, you're like, I didn't even know he was engaged. He got married and like, oh, Tua has a kid. Like all of these things.
And he's waiting for a second kid, by the way.
Okay, I wouldn't have known that. And he would be holding a baby at training camp and I'd be like, I guess he has another kid. Like he is very adamant of being like letting no one in outside of the team.
Yeah. Do you find it interesting that, Tyreek is married to, Kenny Vaccaro's sister?
Oh.
And Tua's married to someone related to Frank Gore. I'm not sure if it's his daughter or someone.
That's Kenny Vaccaro's sister? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I when I saw the last name before it, it's Hill now or whatever, I was like, that feels like that's the only Vaccaro I've ever known.
Yeah.
And then Frank Gore's related to Tua's wife. Is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you how.
Okay, tell me.
I'm gonna tell you exactly how. Tua's wife.
Are you Googling it?
Yeah, I'm Googling it right now. So her name is Anna Gore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna Google now if Anna Gore is related to Frank Gore. By the way, Tua, I know you're listening to this, man. I want you to know that we're doing this with the utmost respect. It's just completely out of curiosity and gossip that we're doing this.
We're becoming kind of like a reality TV gossip show. You know what I mean?
We should have our own reality show.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun. That would be really fun. Did you figure it out?
Does Frank?
You don't even know if it's related. Well, while you're,
I read it. Okay. Who is Tua Tagovailoa's wife? All about Anna Gore.
Okay. Well, you read that, and I will say this: the other part of the Tua thing that is his private stickiness. He wants it to be very, very private.
Okay.
Is a huge part of that is also like the quarterback, that show on Netflix. They asked him to be a part of that last year, I think, too, and he denied that. So he's very adamant about it.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, she's not related to Frank Gore. Apologies to the Gore family and to Tua for that.
I almost have to cut this whole section out. I mean,
she's also not related to Al Gore, the former vice president, just in case anyone was wondering.
Thank God, because that's what my mind jumped to after that.
But she's not. Yeah, she's not. But apparently, I have no idea where they met.
Oh, okay. Well, here's that kind of plays into like Tua works in mysterious ways. The two things I'll say about Hard Knocks before we kind of move on in this conversation is my favorite part of the whole show was how they showed that Tua prepared for Max Crosby.
Yeah.
That was cool. Like, I love those little things. Like, because sports, we don't talk about it enough, how much the mental side of sports plays into it. And like, remember back in like LeBron's late Cleveland years, early Miami years, where it was all mental. Like, he had this mental barrier he couldn't get over to win the championship. Yeah. And it's just really, really beautiful to see that behind the scenes thing.
Yeah. On that, don't you think Tua's like the nicest guy ever?
I mean, he seems super chill and nice. Yes, I agree.
I'm going to tell you why. Just because, like, during practice, the guy from the practice squad would come in and shove him, and he'd be like, "Thank you, yeah, do that more."
Right.
And then he'd get shoved again and be like, "Thank you, man, do it again." And he would be like, "Thank you." Like, he would just saying thank you constantly. And I was very impressed by that. And then I saw this during the game, and then they replayed it in the Hard Knocks, where he turns to Max Crosby and says, like, "I know you want to kill me, man. Like, I know you want to kill me." And like, how can you not root for this kid? Like, he's just so chill, man.
I know. And honestly, with the Brian Flores era, I think because of like no confidence in him from the entire organization, and with Brian Flores involved in that, it seemed like he was like a little bit mentally weak during that time. And now you see him with Mike McDaniel and stuff, and he is a lot. It seems like he's a lot stronger just upstairs. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
He's like, oh no, that challenge that you're talking about, Max Crosby, I actually want to like take that head on instead of the Brian Flores era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just loved seeing that, his dynamic. I found it interesting that he sits between Mike White and Connor Williams during team meetings.
Yeah.
This is not going to come to a shock to anyone, but I would be a terrible head coach just because if I saw people sitting there so uninterested in what I'm saying, like the team looked while McDaniel was talking, like, dude, I would just stay in my office.
Yeah. No. Yeah. 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 And okay, well, the last thing I'll say on this talk before we go into the Raiders game, which was a little dicey, is that I want to remind the listeners, not the viewers. Okay. The listeners, you always call me out on that. I want to remind the listener, which is you, the listener that I am talking to currently, that this show will go up until we get knocked out of the playoffs or we win the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
And it can document one of two stories. The beautiful team that we have on paper that could have a meteoric rise to a Super Bowl win when no one expected it because the AFC is pretty weak and it's ripe for the taking, or it can show a absolute disaster.
Yeah.
And this is why it's a little scary, is because if it goes well, we have it all documented and we can come back to this when we get sad. But if it goes poorly, everyone will know every single detail of this organization. And once again, we will be a laughingstock. So I don't know what you think about that, Jorge.
First of all, I want to say that I thought you were talking about this show, like you and I going all the way, like we're going to keep going. Well, the team is, alive and all the way to the Super Bowl. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't we be?
No.
I understood you were doing, then I got it that you were talking about Hard Knocks.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, you know me, I hate, national TV, national primetime games, and we'll talk about that later. I'm actually excited about this. I think it shows a very human side of the team, of everyone, Mike, Tua, Coach Campamino. I mean, that a lot of guys, are not crazy about this. I don't think it was an accident that Fangio was nowhere to be seen in the show. But I think it's going to be fun, and I think I think this team is primed for a nice little run. I'm not sure if it's going to end with a Lombardi Trophy or a little bit earlier, but I think it's going to be a very nice run to remember.
Yeah, well, let's hope. Going into transitioning here. This Raiders-Dolphins game, watched all of it. It was a shit show. It was not fun to watch. And
it was not smooth.
I mean, to be fair, I think we turned over the ball maybe it was 4 times.
3 times.
Altogether.
3 times.
Was it 3 times?
Yeah,
and
2 fumbles and an interception.
And there was still no point in the game I felt we were going to lose.
Yeah, I agree.
But we need to clean this up. We need to clean it up.
Absolutely. I cannot agree with what you said, Carter. I never felt like the result was at risk. But it was just so frustrating, like just watching the offense just shoot themselves in the foot, the interception, the fumbles, the mistakes. But how about that defense? I mean, that defense is playing well. If we were doing this in a live studio show, the audience would be clapping there.
Yeah.
But they played lights out. They've been playing lights out for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see them bully the Jets on Friday. Sorry. But the offense. If the offense plays the way they did against the Raiders on Friday, it's going to be a very long game.
Yeah. It's very true. And what I will say about this Raiders game too is that, like, I think we kind of forgot, like the whole NFL forgot how dominant Jalen Ramsey is. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he was making plays that nobody else can make. Like, nobody else. It was like he was like swallowing interceptions. It was that he had no business making. You know what I mean? Going forward, if he's on the field, you feel like you have a pretty good shot against any team, I think.
I agree. I think, first of all, that first interception was absolutely ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
And somehow the second one is even better.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to have him back there. I think everyone on the defense is playing with a newfound level of confidence.
Yep.
I mean, Sealer, Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chapman, Andrew Van Ginkel, Javon Holland, everyone's just flying around, making big hits. And we talked about it, right? This team needs to be able to run the ball, stop the run, and have a dominant defense to be able to make that run that we're hoping they make.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have, at least the defense part of that, down for now.
You think we have you think the way the defense is playing currently is sort of how we're going to see them the rest of the year, like even against the great opponents?
Yes.
And I said this a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm almost starting to regret it. I said this to you dead in your face, Jorge. I said, our defense looked pretty shoddy. And I looked at you and I said, we should not wait with bated breath for Jalen Ramsey to come back because he's not going to fix this defense. That's what I said.
Yeah, you did.
I did say that. But I also, people have been they've been telling me for weeks and years, or not years, but definitely at least a year, that Jalen Ramsey was washed. So why would I believe he was going to fix this defense?
Because I told you so, Carter. and as we've learned throughout life, whenever you are confused by anything, dumbfounded by anything else, you should ask yourself, what would Jorge do? Then do exactly that, man.
Yes, you're right. I forgot that that's what I'm supposed to do, and I'm an idiot for that. And going forward, I will listen. But it's insane that to think that if we play, with that offensive prowess we played at the beginning of the year, and this defense, if we can put it all together, and we're talking about the AFC picture now, which has Joe Burrow out for the year. We have Josh Allen at 5-5, and they do not look good. We have what are some of the other injuries I'm missing here? Like, the only teams you even worry about in the AFC anymore is it feels like it's just going to go through Arrowhead. We're going to have the Chiefs to play. The Ravens are still formidable, but they just lost Mark Andrews. I mean, the AFC's for the taking. I mean, what are you thinking about this?
I think the important part of that, and I saw the stat on Sunday, I'm not sure if you remember it, but essentially Hard Rock is now the toughest stadium in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Tua and Hard Rock is essentially, the toughest QB in the league.
It's got a good ring to it. It's nice.
So I think, the key for this team, it's going to be, finding a way to be, to play at least two playoff, playing at least, that the home field advantage, have it, at least in the division, through the divisional round. So not just in the wild card, but through the divisional round. So be one of the top 2 seeded teams. because the number one seed could lose. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and then you are the home field advantage team for the championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, if we find a way to be the number one team, I mean, that's fucking awesome. But if you're top two, then I think this team has a really good chance to make a run.
Yeah. And what do you think the Chiefs-Eagles said about the Chiefs? What did you think that said anything at all, or do you think just two great teams that battled? Do you think it says nothing?
It pisses me off because I think we could have beaten both of them.
I think so too. I mean,
it pisses me off.
Games.
And just that loss against the Bills early in the season. I mean, I don't know about you, Cord, but I cannot find a reason for why we lost.
Which one? The
Bills game. The Bills game. Like, we are a much better team. Like, how the fuck did we go into Buffalo and get our asses handed to us?
I honestly think, and you tell me if I'm wrong here. It might have been psychological. Like, it might have been they have like, we don't win in Buffalo, Josh Allen is our daddy, like type of thing. When you haven't beaten a team in a long time, where you almost expect to get destroyed.
Yeah, but see, I agree that it was mental, but not because of that. Because I think we went into the playoffs, and this team knew that with Tua playing quarterback in that game, we would have won.
Yeah, sure.
Right. I mean, we went last year, and we were so close to winning. And I think it was more about this team being completely overconfident and thinking we're just going to go there and we're just going to shit on them.
True. And
then I think the Bills were very, very aware of that. And I think for them, it was like, there's no way you're coming to my house and you're going to shit on me.
Yeah.
And they kicked your ass, man. I mean, there's no two ways to say it. They kicked your ass.
They really did. And then the Chiefs game, they were begging us to beat them. The Eagles game, same type of situation. I know we played, we weren't at home for any of these games.
Yeah.
All of our losses have been on the road. The one thing I was worried about too then is like, we can't, if we're going to make our home field advantage almost an insta win, we can't turn the ball over 3 times and only score 20 points.
And we won.
We won, but like, come on. Like, I want to dominate these fuckers.
Look, I agree. I was super upset on Sunday. Super upset, man. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, how the fuck did we just win by 7? How the fuck are we just scoring 20 at home?
Yeah.
And then, I remembered something, Carter. And this is just a very, very small detail that I'm going to remind you of right now.
It's hard to win in the NFL. Are you going to say
it's hard to win in the NFL, man. And it's still the NFL. And the Raiders, we're coming on a high, and they've got some very talented players there. And Crosby, we saw what he could do. And this defense just played lights out. And this offense did just enough to win, despite, having 2 backups at guard. By the way, if anyone can tell me who the fuck was playing right guard in that game, because he looked pretty fucking solid, and there's no way that's Liam Eichenberg, I would appreciate the tip.
Well, was it a white guy? Because then you probably
it was a white guy, man. It was a white guy, man, and it said Eichenberg on the back of the jersey. I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, it was Liam, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it was fucking Liam. He played great, and Austin Jackson is becoming a fucking elite right tackle.
Okay.
And yes, I'm swearing all over the show. I don't give a shit. But it was great to watch. Those 2 guys playing solid. I thought Cotton didn't have the best day out there. I'm iffy on Connor, and I'm going to say something, Carter, and I'm probably going to get some blowback here, but I've been disappointed with number 72 on that offensive line. Teron Armstead has, for me, not looked at the same level as he did last year.
Well, he's an old grandpa that gets hurt. His whole body's hurt. He's old.
Yeah, but I mean, usually there was this huge drop-off when he wasn't there, and, hats off to Kendall Lamb. We haven't seen that drop-off when he's not there, and when he's there, it's not, he's not, the offensive line is playing at a much higher level this year, and he's just not bringing that, exponentially higher.
Elevating like he used to.
Yeah, he's not,
Yeah, like that's true. You would feel like we're going to lose this game for sure if Teron Armstead didn't play. But nowadays, it feels like they're so good in the scheme now that like whoever plays in that position is probably going to do all right.
Yeah.
So, going forward, though, last thing we have to talk about is this Jets game this Sunday, or not Sunday, Friday.
Friday. It's
like
confusing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's 2 days. And we're playing Tim Boyle, which should be an insta win. It should feel this game should not be close. It should be an insta win. And honestly, in my opinion, the things that the Jets are good at are not. It's just not a good matchup for them. Like they win very close games, right?
Yeah.
And even against elite defenses, we're going to put up 20, 24. We're going to put up points. They just are not going to have a good enough offense to keep it really close to where they can beat us by like a field goal. You know what I mean? You know how the Jets win any game is they just keep it close and then they somehow beat you by a field goal. They just can't keep it that close with us, I don't think.
I think I agree with you. Like I look at this game and, the only way I can see us losing is if we get shut out and then they score on defense as well.
Yeah.
Right. I don't see how their offense should be able to do anything against their defense.
Tim Boyle.
Yeah, I think here's what I think is the key to the game. If the Dolphins manage to, and I know Dolphins love to defer and get the ball first in the second half. I know we fucking love it. All right. But I think this is one of those games where if we score quickly, in the first couple of drives, and we force the Jets to put the ball in the hands of Mr. Team fucking Boyle, then we're gonna just completely destroy them. But if they score and they're able to run the ball, and we're not able to stop the run, and they keep holding us to short drives on offense, and they start winning that field position battle, then this is gonna be one of those tight games that makes Carter crazy and makes his hair fall out.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. You've been a big proponent of the person that says we need to sometimes get the ball first and set the tone of the game.
Yes.
We deter every time. Every single time we deter.
And it's so fucking frustrating, man.
It is. And then sometimes we're down 7-0 and we start panicking, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I will say. If we go up 7-0 after let's say we decide to receive the ball this time, we go up 7-0, the game's over. It's already over.
Yeah.
If we go up 7-0 against this team, they don't have enough firepower to score 7 points. It feels almost as if this Jets defense needs to dominate us, score on defense, or they have no shot. They have no shot. That's what it feels like.
I agree. And I think, let's be honest, the one thing that could make this a tough game for us is that defensive line.
Sure.
Right? If that defensive line starts to get into his face, he starts to get a hit. If they start shutting down the run, if we start to get into 3rd and 15s and 3rd and 30s and the fuck not, it's going to be a fucking painstaking long game. But if we're able to move with the ball and get into some, 2nd and shorts, 3rd and shorts, and just keep moving the ball, keep that, keep our defense fresh, and just, put up, I don't even need a touchdown every drive. Just, give me a touchdown one drive, a field goal on the other, and punt on the next one, right? Just score on 2 out of 3 throughout the game.
Yep.
Then we should be winning this game with absolute ease.
Yep. And I think the wheels have come off, Jorge, for this Jets team. I think for a long time they were trying to just, hold out hope that Aaron Rodgers comes back and saves this season down the road. Maybe they're like, oh, let's just make it so that we're 6-6 and then maybe he comes back and he can get us a wild card, whatever it is. The wheels came off last week. The Bills were in absolute shambles, and they just got a get right game with the Jets, destroying the Jets, making Zach Wilson a 3rd-string quarterback. This team is falling apart, and it's time to show them that how far they are behind us. Okay, and I honestly think I think the Bills won 38-6 or something. I hope. And I predict something similar. I predict something like 42-7, 42-10. That's my prediction going forward. What do you got for your point prediction? And then we'll call it a day and have a good Thanksgiving to everybody.
I think that the Dolphins are going to put up at least 35 points.
35 to what?
You know what I'm going to call it? It's going to be a shutout, guys.
Wow.
It's going to be a 35-0 game.
Oh man, that would be beautiful. That would.
And I'm
be
going to tell you,
so
and I'm going to
beautiful.
tell you why. This offense has to be pissed off. I mean,
Yep.
Tua took out. I'm not sure the name in English for the hair thing that he had going on.
Cornrows.
Yeah, the cornrows. They're
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
They
Tua's
are.
pissed off. He was disappointed with himself.
Uh-huh.
Right. The offense didn't look good. People are questioning this offense now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's no better game to come out, pissed off and just put 35 on someone. Your
Yep.
defense has been playing great. They're playing against a really bad offense. Let's call a spade a spade.
A spade, a spade.
So there's no reason for them to score. There's no reason for this offense not to play well and for them to give the ball away. And if that happens, if the Dolphins do not give the ball away, then the Dolphins should be able to pitch a shutout just because of basic field position.
I agree. Here's a question, but before we get off the air, is Tyreek's hand broken? What's up with his hand?
I think just, a bad bruise, right?
It's what?
A bad bruise? He just got a hit. It's not broken.
He said he couldn't move it though.
Yeah, but they said in Hard Knocks, during the games, it's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a splint in it. He can come back.
But I hope that's not like an injury that could resurface,
I'm pretty sure it's not.
All right. I hope to God, because if, God forbid, I can't even say it. So I think 35-0 shutout for you, 42-7, 42-10, something like that for me. That's been the Two Amigos. Anything else for the way out, Jorge?
Nothing. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Carter. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our listeners. Hope you have a great day, and we'll be back next week.
That's really beautiful that you said that, even though you're not celebrating it. I really like that about you.
You had to rub it in, didn't you? You son of a bitch.
All right.
Son of a bitch. You know what? Just for that. I hope you get the turkey when it's cold, man. I hope you're the last one to get the turkey, and I hope it's cold when it gets to you.
That's a low blow, Jorge. You're better than that, buddy. You're better than that. You've
made me into this. You've turned me into this monster.
All right. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.